astray, caught up in the games they play. High-speed chases gone awry, serious turns into pie in the sky. Just out of jurisdiction.
But yeah, that's good stuff. Go ahead there, intro us.
Welcome back. Another episode for you. We've got another guest for you here. We've got Danny Robinson with us.
Hello.
He's another survivor of this area's policing industry. Retiree. Made it all the way through. Another one of my FTOs, actually. I think by the time I got to Danny, kind of knew what we was doing and kind of got the, okay, he's laughing about that.
He didn't have a clue what he's doing, do you?
No, none of us did.
No.
Even the trainers didn't know what we was doing.
But I will say that Danny's FTO philosophy was probably one of the better ones. Everybody up until that point was kind of, aside from Richie, was, okay, this is the way we're going to do it. There's no other way. You're not going to, and if you do it any other way, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. Danny's was kind of like, everybody polices a different way. You find the way that you do it. As long as you're not doing it to get you indicted or in trouble, you're good. Mm-hmm. So that's, you start learning that way. You can't go by a strict guideline on that. But yeah, I think T-Dot's known Danny a lot longer.
So yeah, we've known each other since probably elementary or at least middle school.
Well,
did you go to East Bernstead with together?
You was just in different class. I was in Miss Reed. You was in whatever her name was.
Yeah, we've elementary school, like kind of like Gary. Only I was moved from that side and went to East Bernstead. So we went, middle school, played, just knew each other. We didn't really run the same circles all the time, but we always liked Danny, good dude. So also we were in the guard together. Mm-hmm. He went to Germany while I went to Belgium. So we didn't get to work guard shacks together.
How many sandbags did you molest over there?
I peed in that. I did not molest it.
None.
I mean,
I peed around the shopping center a lot.
But
we're getting our quota of pee story right now.
Well, I got a verse in a pee story, and we'll get to that because Danny and I were hired at the same time, and we were roommates in the police academy. Now, first time we go up to do our pops, he picks me up in this Ford Probe or something. What was that? It was purple. If you look at it one way, it was purple, and the other way it was green.
Dodge Avenger.
Mm-hmm. And we rode up together and to Richmond to do our pops test, and we just did everything together there. Ran. We lost track of time because we was just kind of just talking, and it's like, man, I can't believe we were so fired up. We was in pretty good shape because we was right out of the army,
out of the military.
So we was running, and we looked down. We was like, oh my gosh, we better pick up our pace here. We're going to fail.
We got to hurry.
So
y'all were on a leisurely jog.
We were. Yeah. I think we passed it probably a minute or so.
Oh, yeah.
We did that in Final Pops, too. Mm-hmm. He was out in front of me, and I caught up with him. We started at different positions, so I caught up with him. We ran the whole time together. Mm-hmm. Or he caught up with me, and he ended. I was like, oh, no, dang it. I've got to keep going.
Yeah.
So, but we enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure, did you go to the hospital while we was in the academy?
Oh, yeah, that was a funny story.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So, we were running the mulch track.
The old mulch track.
Are you the reason that we weren't allowed to run the mulch track anymore?
I don't know. That's a possibility.
I know many people that's got mulch track bid or something.
But we was just running, doing our normal thing, and I started getting a pain in my side, and
This is more than a stitch.
I just collapsed. And Mr. Hughes was our DT instructor at that time.
Great dude. He come over and he's like, he's always yelling at me for something. That's just how it went in the academy. I was always getting yelled at for something. He wasn't as much as me, but I was always getting in trouble. He was a follow me everywhere I go. But anyways, I collapsed. He come over there. He's yelling at me. Everybody's laughing, kind of making fun of me. And I'm like, no, it really hurts. It really hurts. Something's happening. He's got a really bad shit pain or something.
It was worse. So they sent me up, and they had to, I don't even remember who I seen at the academy. Next thing you know, I can't remember if it was you
or Mr. Hughes, somebody took me to the hospital.
No, I didn't. Okay, I wasn't allowed.
I don't remember who it was. They took me to the hospital, and they admitted me. And they did nothing. They did nothing. They took some blood and did nothing. I stayed on the on that little bed, just in the fetal position all night. Next morning, there's nothing wrong with you. They sent me back. So I went back to the academy, and our advisor or
class coordinator,
won't mention any names. He's no longer with us, but he didn't like me at all.
We'll get into those reasons.
He did not like me at all, but he tried to fail me over that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Tried to fail me. Said they're going to kick me out and send me home.
Really?
Yes, sent a letter to the department, and they called it. Lige was chief then, and he went off on them, and they were going to fail me because I missed almost all day's work. Said I wasn't going to make it up. And said I couldn't. I was like, they didn't give me any restrictions.
Well, that's weird because you remember when I missed a couple of days because I was getting ready. I got put on like a stop loss. I had seriously. We were February it was Valentine's Day. Me and you stopped at the Walmart in Berea on our way home. Got our spouses.
Final phase.
This is
Just
February.
waiting to graduate.
We graduated March 15th. We were 1 month away. We were starting our fourth phase, whatever they call it. We'd put on the gold epaulets. I remember we were the top dogs in the academy class.
Yeah,
we were
the shiznit.
So I get a phone call, and it's like the Rams are running or something. I don't know what they're talking about. I was like, huh? That was like a code, like, hey, you report to. So I'm calling them. They were like, are you sitting down? I was like, no, I'm not sitting down. What's going on? They're like, you're getting ready. I mean, we just had come home. Mm-hmm. They're like, I think Iraq was getting ready to kick off. Mm-hmm. They were like, you're
2002.
So I had my, like, all these licenses, vehicle recovery, all this stuff from the Marines, and they knew my MOSs besides the infantry. I had this. And they were like,
and they can pull you for so many years after you come out, right?
I was pretty
4 years. Okay.
What's weird, my final commitment date, 8 years of military service, was March 8th. We're talking about February the 15th. So I only had to March 8th, and I was out of the military for good. I completed my service.
And just getting ready to get pulled.
Yes. Not to mention, we were about to graduate the academy.
They sent him orders.
Yeah, I had orders sent.
Military orders to deploy. Listen,
I've never been more sick in my life.
It was hilarious.
I was like I went in and saw like the lodge and them. I was like, I'm getting deployed. I don't even know you people, but I'm getting deployed again. They were like, what? I was like, I got orders to report to. I got to go to Richmond. They're sending me to Paducah. And I think they're going to send us to Saudi Arabia or something. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like panic mode. And so I call the coordinator, tell him what's up. He's like, you just be with your family right now? Because I had to report like on Wednesday. And we had to be back in the dorms on Sunday night. So I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So I made some phone calls trying to anybody. I was calling every politician I knew, which was nobody, but one great guy, Albert Robinson. Mm-hmm. He just went on to be with the Lord. He was a great dude. And they were in session because of the time of year. And I was like, I went to church with him. And he was like, yeah, I'll get with you Tuesday. I'll go talk to. Well, I'd went and seen everybody else in between, just not trusting that it could get done. And I told him, and they were like, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Why would they be? They just got home like 6 months ago, and that's stupid. Mm-hmm. So they canceled the whole dang mission, apparently. And I called another guy that got pulled too, and he was so mad at me. He said, man, that was going to be good money. I was like, I just want to be a policeman, man.
I want the money.
I got 15 days, and I'm completely out of the military. Yeah. I was like, and I'd already been deployed with National Guard, and I was not real sure what was going to happen. I'm like, I'm definitely going to die if it's war. Yeah, it's like Belgium was close. This is bad.
National Guard and active duty is nothing alike.
However, what they did, when I called the coordinator, he was like, "Man, you just be with your family." So I did. When I came back, I was like, "Hey, they let me back in." I called him, and so I come in. Danny's like, "Huh? What are you doing here?" It's like, "I'm back, baby." And I never done so much homework in my life for the next. I had to write about papers on resting heart rate, 5 pages. I was like, I don't know how I can do that. I wish
Just from stuff that you
GPT would
missed.
have been around back then. I'd have been all right. But I really made the greatest score I've ever made in that because I actually buckled down and worked hard. But so Danny and I had a different experience with him. He liked me. I must have tried hard.
I don't know. Ever since day one, he did not like me.
It's probably because you was over there chuckling at him.
I was always, I was. Yeah.
Danny in legal class would be over there and be like, "Hey,
If it wouldn't
Like
have been
God,
for
no.
Travis, if it wouldn't have been for him, I would have not graduated.
well, our study habits were really fun." Danny would listen as I would read them, and he would answer questions. And that's what we did. We didn't study real hard, but we just went over everything
Yeah.
every day.
We did a lot of like flashcard stuff.
Oh, we
and
didn't
stuff
do that.
Yeah.
We just read it, and then he would answer the questions, and that was it.
Now, I will
we
say
both
this.
had really good grade. We weren't honor grads or nothing, but
There was a
we were never going to be honor grads.
there was a pretty good tradition by the time we got up there that the graduating class, handed off all their notes from their adjutant to our adjutant.
We started a very good tradition,
Yeah.
too, getting PBT'd every night.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate
that was us.
Yeah.
Somebody started a tradition that we weren't even allowed to go to Hooters anymore.
That wasn't us, was it?
Ooh.
I didn't go.
No, I don't think, because you all weren't that dumb.
No.
Somebody went to Hooters in their academy uniform.
No, that
Oh,
was
no,
not us.
no.
Yeah, and it caused a whole, so there was like, don't even go.
Did y'all go to the college and eat?
Some.
I figured we'd have got kicked out of that.
I mean, it was a buffet, so yeah, we were,
It was a buffet.
yeah.
It was.
But we're talking about food.
The place was.
Yes, Danny, we're talking about food.
Had food there?
Yeah.
Danny's like, huh? So so some of the things that happened. All right. So I'm gonna say day 2, day 3, or the next week we brought a TV in. Mm-hmm. So we report by the next week we brought some old TV in. Sometime during that week, we bring our computer in, do our homework. We do, we try to make it as homely as we can because we were there 5 nights, 5 days a week. So somebody, me or you one, leaned back in one of them wooden chairs
It was me.
and it cracked. Pop! They were brand new. Hey, we were the first academy class to sleep in those dorms.
Yep.
I mean, we weren't the first one, the dorms, but
Yeah.
that room,
With the wooden desks.
we
and
were
those-
peeling
yeah.
plastic off stuff.
Yeah, we were the first ones in that section of the
Yeah.
dorm.
So we were peeling plastic off mattresses and stuff, and we went up and bought,
Our mattresses came out of jail, I think.
Yeah.
they weren't great, but they
No.
were brand new. We knew we wasn't going to get bed bugs or something, or cooties or lice.
We just had the military training and bought polypros and stuff like that
Yeah,
to
we
stick
did.
under our mattresses.
Yeah, we knew how to make ourselves pretty comfortable in that situation.
We learned. I mean,
The first thing we did was went to
adapted,
Walmart and bought egg crates and just brought our own stuff. There's nothing more comfortable than a poncho liner to sleep under.
Yeah, but it was the first week. It was those square chairs that's wood. I mean, they didn't have
They were
legs.
heavy.
They didn't have legs, but
Yeah,
it was like all one piece made into a leg. You probably remember.
Yeah.
and they had like
Yeah.
a back, like a round back, and then went up to and we leaned back
Just a little bit.
and then pop, crack.
Yeah, there's no give to those.
But we didn't tell anybody. You couldn't see it.
Right.
No, but you if you used it, you were going to fall
Yeah.
backwards and
So
break
we
them.
put our TV in it.
Yeah, and never thought about it again until
Nope.
that red haired dude.
Week 15. Week 15.
Yeah, this guy comes up and says, "If you all have got any broken equipment in your rooms, you need to tell us right now, and it'll be okay." So I start panicking. I'm like, "Golly!"
I had him panicking so much. It was hilarious.
I was like, "We gotta go tell on ourselves on this broken chair." It was his chair. He did it, but I took it up there and said, "Hey, we got a broken chair." They were like, "Thank you, thanks for showing us." Well, we're practicing graduation. like doing the walk across, and here's where you stand, here's where you sit, and all that stuff. I get a call from the head coordinator over training.
Don't know who it was though. I don't remember his name.
I think it's Miller's his last name. But anyway, he brings me in there. He says, "You're on standby for graduation." I'm like, "What?" I said, "What, sir?" It's like over this broken chair. We're launching a full blown investigation on it, and I'm like, Danny Robinson. And that was the story of our career. But I was like, you got me.
Leave it to Danny.
Oh my gosh! So I mean, now I panicked. I mean, I was like, we run final pops. We've run, all this final stuff you have to do, final tests, all the things you have to do. And we're like, and I'm on standby. Apparently, they called Lodge on that one too. There's 2 times on Lodge. I know of 4. But number 3 is the worst one. 1 was there was some trash left in the dumpster. But number 3 was a really bad number 2.
Yeah. All right. So when you're there, in between classes, you don't get a whole lot of time.
No. 5-10 minutes maybe.
And when you're up early and you eat breakfast and you work out and you get something, you get stuff in your belly, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So we had just a little bit of time, and I was like, I gotta go. So I went to the room.
He was actually awake in class this time.
I was actually awake.
I knew something was up because he was like.
But I went to the room and I did my business, and just sometimes you don't have time to clean everything like spotless with a toothbrush or nothing. But it wasn't dirty. It was just a used bathroom.
I disagree, but we'll get to that in a second. He comes back to the. Go ahead, Danny.
So
I want to hear your side of this.
And I was just like, bathroom's a little dirty.
What he really said was, I think we're rode up. Oh no. What had happened after he used the bathroom, when he opens the door, they're there to do a room check.
They're doing an inspection in our room after I just left. And remind, there was no Febreze. There was no Glade plug-ins or anything like that. So it was a good one.
He comes back I'm sitting there. He comes back. He's like sweating. He's like, we're rode up. I was like, oh no, why? What happened? Because we
swirly mercs.
No, man. No.
He just had one of those Dumb and Dumbers.
He had to go.
It was on the back of the walls. It was bad. It was on the shower curtain. It was everywhere. I was like, oh my God, we are rode up.
It was everywhere but the toilet.
It was like splattered underneath. I don't know how.
There's just a little bit of water in there, but when a lot hits it really quick, it splatters.
I think he was still butt up when he started launching. They called Lodge on that one. Mm-hmm. When Lodge later, he was like, listen. He said, you and Danny Robinson. This was later, when he got to actually talk to us and know us.
Got to know us.
Because at first, you had you had no conversations with the chief. There was no reason to. But when he started going to church with me, I took him and we went up to a baseball game together. And he was like, you and Danny Robinson got more phone calls. I got more phone calls from you two in the police academy than I have in the 17 years I've been police chief at this place. I was like, they were all Danny. He was like,
yeah. Well, he probably agreed with that because it actually started before the academy.
Yeah, let's tell that story.
So before you have to go up and do your psychological and your pops and all that. And I've, military, passed the psych, passed pops.
Pass means you just are consistent with telling the same thing. Yes. Not that you're not crazy.
Well. So did all that, and we're headed back home after doing all that, and I get a phone call from a sergeant at the PD who is still working, just not at the police department, with somebody else. He calls, and he begins to yell at me on the phone, and I'm like, whoa, dude, what's going on? He's like, I don't know what you told them. He said, but they're not recommending you. I'm like, I don't know. Then I'll tell about the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
so
two.
There's another one before that. So he's yelling at me. I take him home, go to the PD. He's there. He's yelling at me some more. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I've not done anything. I've been in trouble, but nothing's on paper.
Right.
You know, and they said Lodge spent like an hour and a half on the phone with the people to tell them to push me through because we needed people so bad.
I don't think that's the story I've ever heard that.
No, and not many people have.
The story I was thinking of.
The one you're thinking of is, so, you know, we do the test. You take the test, you know, back when we applied, we did it at North Laurel High School. Mm-hmm. There was no sitting room.
It's packed.
It's so packed. You know,
There's 4 spots in there, but
if there wasn't 100 people in there, there wasn't
crazy.
5.
It was
You know,
crazy.
it was crazy. You know, it was my 4th time taking it. Did all that, and then they start your background investigation.
Right.
You don't hear nothing. You just give them everything, and then they tell you when your report date is and all that. So it was a Friday evening. It's about 3:30, and another sergeant, friend of mine, he called me, and it was not a very polite phone call. It was what'd you do? You know, yelling at me, said a few choice words, and told me to get my hind end to the police department. So I get there. It's 3:30, 3:45. Okay.
We report that next Monday or
That
Sunday.
We were going to the academy.
Was this on a Thursday or Friday?
This is a Friday evening.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had to report to the academy on November 16th, which was a Sunday.
It was.
So they asked me, he's like, you ever been in trouble? I was like, yeah, but
I'm sitting in there too.
yeah. I'm like, I've had a few tickets. Do you remember this ticket on blah, blah, blah? And I was like, yeah, I sure do. I remember that because that was a trooper that I know real well. We was in the guard together. And it was on one of them FOT days for him. And I had a black Mitsubishi Eclipse, and I was coming from my grandparents, and I was letting them scream. So he pulled me over, wrote me a ticket, smacked me on the head, threw it in the car, and said, get that handled. So I got it handled, I thought. Okay.
Oh, no.
That guy I gave it to said, it was taken care of, or handled. Handled. Don't worry about it. He said, you get one. I'm like, well, that's 1 times 4, but thank you.
Yeah.
He didn't remember, thank God. So they're yelling at me. This is about 3:45, 3:50-ish. I was with the major at that time who was supposed to be doing my background. I think he did, but kind of didn't, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, I had an active bench warrant
Oh, no.
for my arrest, and the clerk's office closed at 4 p.m. So I have to leave and I'm talking, I have minutes to spare
To get over there and pay that.
to get over there and pay it. Thankfully, I caught Mr. Schott when he was there, a clerk, and he laughed and laughed. I thought he was going to laugh so hard that he was going to have a heart attack before I could pay it.
It was.
Got that paid. So our shenanigans, or
It was before the academy. I was like, I'm
It
going with a
started-
wanted man here. This guy.
remember the range at
Yeah. So we were heading up. The range was off down at the river, on the
Yeah.
Boonesboro exit. So we're going up there. It was cold,
It's
but not
always
slick.
cold.
But it was just cold.
It's just cold.
And we're heading up to that exit, riding in our 1995.
It's a 95 Crown Vic, solid white. It's
oh,
a
it's
parking
awesome.
enforcement car.
I bet it would fly.
I don't know. I never drove it. He was the driver. Saying that we rear-ended another officer.
Yeah, so we're getting off the exit. And one of our classmates, everybody drove their own cars. Most people didn't carpool or ride it. We just, me and him did because we only had one car until graduation or a couple weeks before. And I'm not saying I'm the best driver in the world. I have learned a few things over the years. You know, paying attention is not one of my strong suits.
No,
You know, so-
we've seen that.
So we get off the exit, and you know, people they'll stop, and then they'll move just a little bit, and then they'll stop again.
They hesitate.
They
and
hesitate.
yeah.
So I didn't know he hesitated. I thought he went, and I plowed right into the back of him.
Luckily, there was no damage.
Well, those cars were built like tanks.
Oh, they were great. Still,
So we
still the
get
greatest
out.
vehicle ever made.
He's freaking out because he's from a Northern Kentucky agency who pays really well, and he's freaking out. T-Dot's freaking out. I'm not. I'm just laughing.
Yeah,
Because, you know, my response to everything
I
is
was like,
just
what do we do?
laughing.
What do we do? Do we
I'm just
call
like-
the police? I'm like,
Wipe it off.
Yeah.
you're good.
And keep going.
I mean, his head. Whoop. I was like, Daddy, what have you done?
Yeah. we got more wreck stories we'll tell later.
Yeah. So we make it out. I guess we did well. We graduated by the skin of our teeth, but we made it.
Physically, we did really well. We made fit for duty and all that.
Yeah.
We
Both
worked-
of us were on the honor guard thing. I don't know if you did the flag details.
Yeah, I did the flagging detail with you.
You know, we had fun. It was a great experience. We used to run. They would let us run off campus for a while. We'd run down to the hospital and back.
Yeah, none of that. Ours was.
I think
ours
we
was
ended
not
that-
a fun experience.
I think we ended that, so that was our fault. They were just building that new awesome gym,
Yeah.
so we
didn't get it till like week.
yeah we were
14.
one of the
13,
first classes
14.
to actually do our PT test on the new track inside. So it was real weird.
Yeah, all our PT and stuff was inside, and then we had the glass room. Now the glass room was fun. Now I don't know. I won't talk about who our instructor was.
That's
but-
where we did DT.
Yeah.
we didn't do much. Then
So we did some DT in there, and I remember I went up against a pretty good fighter. All them guys could fight. So I'm doing his name is Dotson as well, and he's a great dude. But I did my thing. No, yeah, I was like, yeah, you pass. I was like, man, I'm scared to death about that fist fight. There's baton fighting.
Yeah.
Danny goes out, and we're watching him. Danny starts doing some taekwondo. I don't know what he was doing.
I've learned a few things over the years. You know,
Don't
I've studied
work.
some different things. And
He learned how to get his ass whipped. That's what he learned.
I thought you could incorporate just about anything into it. I was looking in Red Man. I was looking for a fight, not this holy.
They would
whatever.
hit you.
They would hit, but we weren't allowed to hit them. I weren't allowed. We weren't. They told us we weren't allowed to punch them.
Yeah, you
No,
couldn't punch.
yeah,
We were
I'm
supposed
like-
to be the baton
I'm like,
You
strike.
just
Man.
had to pull noodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that foam pool noodle.
Yeah.
So me, I hold it back on my head like you're supposed to, and I twirl it,
Twirls it like
and it was
a bow staff or
yeah,
something.
because I've done some boat back then I did, but I was just having fun. And I'm a little cocky. I can't help it. Really cocky, but it was Lindsey Hughes again. He liked me, but he made it rough on me.
Yeah.
Very made it rough on me. So I twirled it, had my hand up, and he said something, and I didn't really pay attention to what he said. And he told me to go to strike him. So I twirled it again, and he popped me square in the face.
His baton went flying. Mm-hmm. It's like a helicopter.
And then when
taking
it hits, when you lose your equipment, it's
off.
on.
Daddy's trying to run back to it to get it.
Because I can't do nothing else.
Yeah, they won't let him go into fist fight.
You know, I would have just, normally, I'd have just tackled him or
Yeah.
done a roundhouse or something like that, because back then I could. I can't do none of that now.
It's funny.
It was hilarious.
Oh,
He destroyed me, and I couldn't help it. Every time I'd pick up that baton, twirl, and every time he would make me eat my lunch.
Was Jumper up there?
Yeah,
At that point in time.
we were his.
Jumper graduate. See, he didn't. When he went to the academy, he didn't work the road long. He left like within a year's time.
And then went to the
Went to
academy.
He was
Academy.
training under Hughes when we came in.
Yes.
And then he took his own class about 2 weeks later.
That
After
dude,
the next
yeah.
class came in, he took his own class. But man, he taught me how to do a vertical jump. Back then, you had to do
Yeah.
But I was like, I went from barely passing, even though
Yeah.
I was like, huh?
That
It was like
guy,
30-inch vertical, and like one. I was like, man, I can get up there. I can dunk.
We'd get done with like our PTDT lesson and still have a few minutes, and he'd get down on the floor and he'd like, all right, let's roll. And just he would twist you up in a pretzel so quick. I mean, it was.
I've had some classes since,
Yeah.
like DT instructor classes and things. That were,
Just the
He
stuff
just-
he knew. He's so.
but he was he was a monster.
He
Like,
still is.
but he's like
Leaned.
Yeah.
He was a monstrosity of a person.
He was.
Like,
He was
big
super
into the
fast.
Yeah, he was big into like
little
the,
bitty guy, little bitty guy, and super
bodybuilding
fast.
stuff.
As
He's
far
only
as-
like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
If
He's
it's that,
shorter than me, so he's probably like 5'6".
Yeah, he's
So
short
I'm
guy.
like I'm 5'7". But
he's a great
He
instructor
was-
too, man.
he was my red man, and he was. And I won't say that he wasn't like the others. The others were like out for blood to make you look like an idiot. He wanted you to learn, but you paid for your mistakes too. And he hit me 4 times before I even knew the fight started. I mean, it was just tap, 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 tap.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, all right.
You remember that
Yeah.
that park guy, the greatest, the legend, Weber.
Oh man,
Who was like what was his first name? Larry.
I don't remember. I just remember.
Great
him.
guy. They named the built gym after him.
Yeah.
He's passed away since. But, I mean, one heck of a dude. And he was the greatest fighter. Like, they would do like, hey, you're going to be in the Mr. Weber has just shoplifted. You two have to go arrest him. Nobody wanted to do it,
No.
man, because you was getting ready to get whipped,
Oh,
or we
yeah.
thought it. But he, if you did what he, if you did the right, like, hey, sir, can you turn around, and did all the proper techniques on arresting somebody, he was complying. It was just his turn to be the bad guy. Oh my gosh, everybody's scared to death that he's going to thump us, because right before that he was. Remember the guy from the Park Service that we were practicing the baton striking, and he kept hitting. Like, it would glance like he was go back, and he was hitting Weber right in the face.
Yeah.
It wasn't hurting him, but he was like, "Sir, the next time you hit me in the face, there will be repercussions." And we went and picked him up at the hospital with the greatest black eye, and on our academy,
Wow.
on
He
our
was-
on our academy pictures, I think his name was Noble. I can't remember, but he had the greatest teardrop black eye. Man, swelled him shut. He gave him a warning. Everybody hit him 3 times though.
Now there was
was fun.
some guys that came into the PTDT there and at the end or in the middle kind of our that was pretty rough, especially on the females that were in our class. And we had some tough females, but they was one that he decleated her
Oh, really?
with an uppercut.
Gosh, they
And it had to call the ambulance and everything.
oh
It was-
no, it's tough, man.
And we had some females that didn't need to be there either. We had
Yeah.
one that couldn't shoot over a 40 on the qualification. It looked like a shotgun target.
You remember in classes you're not supposed to have recording devices in there. We got a guy. His recording device, he accidentally hit play.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh, it was awful. We had it.
Wow.
If anything bad could happen in our academy class, it did.
It happened,
And we're just like,
and usually it was me somewhere involved in him laughing.
yeah, it was. We had a good time. We graduated. We get out of there, and one of the greatest. We hadn't been out long, and it was Halloween. Of our first year or second year, I can't remember exactly. The foot pursuit in Walmart.
Oh, well, technically it was my first real pursuit. I had another foot pursuit before then, but it didn't last nothing like that did.
Right.
That was like our second year.
So listen. We answer a second shift call together. Mm-hmm. Trespasser
At Walmart.
At Walmart.
Tire
back
Lube
towards
Express.
tire lube. We get back there, and this guy we see, he sees us. He starts slipping around. I'm like, So Danny goes to cut him off, and I look around. The guy's gone, and Danny's he's after him. He's on him. So I'm like, So I get on the radio like foot pursuit, Walmart. But it was probably because people are like 824, what'd you say? I'm like, 5% Walmart, me and Danny, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
It never comes out in
No.
the moment the way it went. in
I
your
thought
head.
it sounded good, but
yeah.
I couldn't do it. I was.
Yeah.
He couldn't. So there was old women flying through the air. Like
It
this
was
dude was
horrible.
bowling over people. They get, the doors like stop, close and waiting on that. And I'm trotting because Danny's like, he is in hot pursuit. He is like,
Yeah.
I get outside. Danny's he's down in the sucking air with his hands on his knees. I said, "Where's he at? Where's he at?" And just across the parking, like maybe
20 yards.
20 yards. The guy's looking at us, and he's got his hands on his knees. So I start taking off after him. He gets his second win, and we run away over, into the fields. But that place has developed a little bit more now.
Well, we stopped twice.
Yeah, there was more stopping. We stopped over there,
twice.
like close to Shoe Inn, and
Yeah.
that strip mall over there. Where, at this time I'm tired because we've ran this whole quarter mile, but we were running. I mean, we was
a
dodging
sprint.
traffic. So we get over there and we're like, oh my gosh! He goes in this briar thicket, and I'm like, ooh, I'm not going in there. And he's like, he knew it. And I'm like, come out of there. And he's like, no, you come get me. I mean, that's what he said. I was like, no, you come up to me. And he took off again, and Danny met him. And that was it. It was a. Well, I don't know exactly what happened.
Well, we won't talk about what happened in the thicket. We got back up. We're walking up the hill, and I don't know whose car he gets put in. And Eric Wilkerson was riding.
He was riding
at that time. He hadn't been hired. He was riding. He was with the major. And when he got out of the car, he walked around the car a minute, and his car was probably, 5 foot in front of me. Well, I barfed. And everything I had that day just up. It was horrible. We run hard.
It was a sprint.
It was physical. We
I'm
fought a
going
little
to
bit.
say that's a long sprint, and
And then the fight at the end of it.
And then a little fight at the end of it.
and plus adrenaline and
Counseling.
things.
He got some counseling.
He got some counseling.
Well, he fought us. I mean, he was trying.
He had a little circle tattoo on his forehead.
The old backhand ring, huh?
And and then so I get up the hill. I'm huffing and puffing, and I barf. Well, like I said, Eric was riding. He wasn't paying attention. He walked right through it, and then got back in the major's car.
Oh, no.
So when we all got done, we all went back to the PD, which Eric wasn't hired then. He got out, and the major kept asking him, "What's that smell? What's that smell?" Took him like 2 days to figure out that Eric had walked through my barf and left in his car.
I never got around to doing it, but we done it when I was at FedEx. We had this sulfur candle,
Oh, gross.
and we would cut little chunks of it off. And like the drivers that we had pretty good working relationships with, we'd go and stick it on top of their engine block.
Oh, okay.
While we was loaded up. So when they got out on the road, it would blow. Oh man, that was one of the great, because you never figure out where that smell's coming from.
Small.
I told that one in the bathroom.
Oh God,
he was notorious about
notorious. And we
Now see, I figured that was Hump.
that. No, it was Tim. He got us. Hump wouldn't do that to us. He loved us.
Now
Tim was just quiet about it.
pranks were always fun over at the PD. It may have been during COVID. I can't remember. And nobody ever said anything about it, so I don't know what the results were of it. But every night where we had all those pool cars sitting at the back and it snowed, I took my boots off and I put them on the hood and made boot prints. And then I went and got a Snickers bar out of the thing and melted it and stuck it on the hood and left it. And I never heard a word. I figured they'd be a full-blown investigation over that.
Well, me and Zanet and John Sloan what was his name? Yeah, we were roommates in Belgium, and our neighbors across the hall. He was there's some guys that I think they work at the Bureau of Prisons now. 2 of them do, and I'm not sure about the other. But we would go in there, and we were in Belgium, and they had all these nice little cheese shops and wine shops and beer. You could buy beer back then out of vending machines, like at train stations. It was really crazy. But we would buy some of that really stinky cheese, man, and plant it around in their room, right? And finally, they'd figure it out and get mad. Well, somebody took that cheese and smeared it in their hat, and we wore those stinking berets back then, and smeared it in somebody's underneath their beret right there, and there was near fisticuffs happening on that.
I can imagine.
Oh, I got stories.
I've gotten so many fist fights over there. I didn't have a clue. It was- You put that many people in barracks together for that long, and there
didn't
was some thumping. Me and I'll get when Zanet comes on. We'll talk about some of our. I learned how to fist fight over there.
I don't think he even knows it, but I saved Daryl Zanet from a full-blown investigation one night. You remember when they got so tore up over dip?
No.
At the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he got pissed off. And
About
had a
leaving
spot.
bottles around?
Yeah.
Spitting in a garbage can.
They spit and throwing, everybody opened
Throwing
the door
them
out and threw them out the back door of processing.
Yeah.
Well, he got pissed off, and I guess out of spite, and it may have just been on accident, but I just assumed out of spite. But there's a big old chaw just like baseballed all over the side of the wall, and I came in and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "I don't know who that is, but I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to hear what's coming after this." So I just sprayed it off with the water hose. I was like, and nothing was ever said, but I can only imagine.
me and Danny, we went to several. So he was always my roommate in every place we went. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We got 2 hotel rooms when we went to like Desert Snow down in Knoxville, but Dare.
That would have been cool to go to.
That's a great. If officers get a chance to go to Desert Snow,
I wanted to.
We learned a lot. We went to both of them. We went to Big Truck
In
as
Lexington,
well.
wasn't it?
I went to Knoxville in both.
Maybe it was Knoxville.
I
don't
tried.
remember.
I tried so hard to
it's
get
a
into
good
like
school.
narcotic stuff, but every time I put in for an in-service, I got like elder sex abuse or something. So
Yeah, it's just part of it. We got lucky
Yeah.
on some stuff. I was with on the task force, and Danny was canine, and we were really close. Good friends. I'm like, hey, you and I got it paid for you through that that task force. So he got to go, and but that's the only time we didn't have to share hotel rooms. So in Dare, we go over to was it Campbellsville? Where were we?
Campbellsville.
So we're in Campbellsville, Kentucky. And Danny comes in. We think we got it made, right? This is going to be 2 weeks. Easy stuff. That was the hardest school I've ever went to in my life.
Yes.
So, like the first day, they had a movie theater. We went to the movies, and we were like, man, this is going to be great. Every night we'll come over here and chill out and do, we couldn't drive home at night. It's too far away.
Yeah.
So Danny's like, I'm just getting over a stomach bug. I'm like, oh
no.
Yeah, he says bad too. We rode together over there, and by day 3 or 2, I'm sick, like green sick. We went and ate at like Rallies. They had a Rallies,
Yeah.
and they had a Druthers over there too. So they ruined my whole trip. So I'm laying there one night, and I'm like, oh no. So I go and I throw up all over. Then I'm like, oh gosh, it's coming out everywhere. So I sat down. I'm like, oh no. Then I just jump in the shower. Come on.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Hello.
That's all right.
So I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there in the tub. I'm pooping in the bathtub.
He was so
And puking
black
out.
and green.
I was puking in the toilet. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I went back into class next day, and I tell the instructors, I'm like, I'm sick. They were like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Because we was doing we had to go through do our practice. They were cramming teachers. College classes down our throat. We're supposed to learn in 2 weeks, so I had to present that day. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was running back to the bathroom, and I was green. And they were like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm sick. Well, you need to go home." I'm like, "No, I'm not going home. I'll never do this again. If I'm here now, So I was the sickest I've ever been, and sit through that just rocking. And Danny's over, I'm sorry, dude, I'm sorry. Smiling, laughing. I'm like,
Telling you, every
Then-
time we get together on training,
his
or
snoring was
something,
unbelievable. I had to beat him to sleep.
I get sick, he gets sick. There's a pooping incident. There's something.
Oh my gosh.
And that was funny in the academy. At 7:30, he'd be laying down, covered up, trying to go to
I tried
sleep.
to sleep like an ostrich, or like with my head buried down underneath the mattress so I didn't hear him. You know, I thought now it'd be all right. I just take my hearing aid out. I'd be fine.
But every night he'd try to beat me to sleep.
Oh, it's hard. It was hard. It was, and then we'd be in the academy, and then Eric Staller would walk in and never leave. You're like, Eric, go to bed.
No, surely
He
not.
talked about everything in the world. I'm like, wow.
Was he still in there going beep boop boop boop?
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
just as bad.
Oh, it was funny.
Just as
But
bad.
we had
Oh,
a
God,
good good time, and then so we went to Dare, graduated that. That was a great experience. We
It
did all
was.
the desert snow stuff, and we had a really fun and blessed 20. You did about 21.
21,
I did right at 20.
almost 21.
It was some good times. So I know you got some other good stories.
I got a few.
Let's hear something.
So I can remember I hadn't been off FTO long, and I mean it wasn't long at all. And I was on second shift, and I hadn't been. You don't when you're on FTO. Sometimes you do a lot, sometimes you don't.
Right.
And my FTO was spent mostly on day shift.
So you didn't do a whole lot
Right.
other than paperwork.
Mostly
and-
paperwork,
yeah,
45,
recs,
stuff like that. So I'm thinking it was a second shift call. It was me and Derek House, and I don't even remember who all was there. But it was one of my first amped up calls. I can remember it. It was a domestic or something similar to that. Might have been just an assault. But anyways, so we go up. It might have been that one that you was with me with we can't say his name, but his girlfriend. He had a deal with his girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was me and you.
Yeah, so it was me and him. So we fought him, and that was the most hilarious fight I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh, let me tell you,
Dude was
Danny
little.
spent. I'm gonna say good solid 5 minutes trying to get into
The
this house.
steel doors.
We go up there and there's a guy sitting in a wheelchair. Another old guy said, "Boys, it's bad. He's killing her. You better get in there." And we banging on the door. Maintenance ain't around. So we were like, "We gotta get in there." And we
donkey
called.
kicking it. I'm kicking it.
I mean, he kicks, and I'm.
It's hard to
standing
get
there.
in one of those doors
Oh,
unless you've got a Halligan.
I
or
don't bring
something.
the first foot up to help him.
He's just watching. And
So
I'm kicking it.
when it pops open, Danny goes back to his position of with
my
hands on the knees.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm surprised he didn't throw up on that one too. I mean, he put a workout in, and we bust in there and he wouldn't come out of there. What? I didn't know y'all was there. He had stabbed her
in the chest.
in the chest, right above her breast with a screwdriver.
Oh gosh.
And she was bleeding.
And she's
everywhere.
holding a baby. I was like, why didn't you let us in first? My boy's over here about to have a heart attack.
And he's laying in bed.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get him up out of bed. He's not moving, and we go to get him. So this dude's little. I mean, I won't say little, but he's thin. We're fairly good sized people. We grab him by the feet and jerk him, and it was like pulling. I don't know. It's just like a little kid coming out of the bed. He just raised up in this big arc, like a windmill arc, and landed in the floor. And when he landed in the floor, he raised up, and Travis did one of his iconic punches.
The old Superman punch.
He just hit him, and he goes right back. Just laid right back on the floor. So anyways, we get him up. I don't remember if we tussled with him much more after that. So I'm grabbing him by the arms. I'm yanking him out the door. I'm walking him down the steps, and Derek House says, hurry up and get him to the PD because there are all kinds of people watching.
Yeah.
And me, fresh out of the academy, just amped up. I said, yeah, so we don't have to smack him in front of everybody. I got reamed for that. We didn't smack the guy. No, don't get me wrong. We didn't smack him. He might have needed it, but we didn't. But me, all hamped up, not thinking of what I'm doing, because we just got done fighting the guy. And everybody's like, oh. So that was another time I got in trouble.
One of the greatest.
I've been in trouble so much, it's hard to keep track.
Remember when you cussed on the main law?
Yep, I remember that. That was hilarious. It was Nextels.
Yeah.
Was you talking to John Whitehead?
John Whitehead. He
makes our show sometimes.
I'm telling
He's got to
you.
come on.
We would have Nextel in one hand, Mike in the other hand, and driving with our knees and the hands and your arms and your elbows and everything you could do to talk. So you're talking, because you try to be as professional as you can on the radio.
You're going in between your Nextel and your
radio.
Mobile,
so we get a complaint, and somebody on Slate Lick Street, possibly moving dope in and out of from vehicles. A lot of people coming in and out. So we're waiting to catch a car coming from the residence. So he's on one side of Slate Lick or McCorder Street, down towards the pawn shop, towards the Parkway, and I'm on the other by the church. And that used to be a FedEx building there, but it was just a big white building on the right. So I'm sitting there in my car, have Mike in one hand, Nextel in the other. We're talking back and forth. We're talking on the radio. We're calling out cars because we didn't have the laptops in.
Right.
We're running tags and everything. And lo and behold, here comes Danny. Here comes this car, and it's just had every indicator you could think of.
Just a straight holler rocket.
You're just thinking, yes.
Got him.
I'm like, I'm getting this one. So I yank it and drive. And I'm hollering at John on the mic, and he's not answering. And I'm hollering at him on the two-way on the Nextel, he's not answering. And I call out a 47, and I'm thinking I'm on my mic, but I'm on the Nextel. I give out the 47, and nothing happens. And I hit it again. I said, "Hey, John, this one's a big POS," but I didn't say POS. I said, "This is a good pile of shit, car. We need to hurry up and get it." Well, as soon as I said that, I was like, oh. And then 818, where are you at? Derrick House, night shift. Slate Lick in the park in McCorder Street. Signal 2 with me up here at blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh.
That's always a fun.
He got them confused.
That's always a fun.
You're not the only one.
No. But I've done that so many times. It's incredible.
Buddy. We had such good times.
I had a great career. I loved it. Did some fun things, not some fun things. Spent a lot of time in supervisor's office.
I've been there.
Been there, done that.
I got a chance to apologize to some old chiefs the other day for I'm not guys. My bad.
I don't think I gave Derek too hard of a time.
I did.
It was the next one.
I did.
But it happened.
I did. I think I spent more time with Derrick House.
I did too. Which we had that special relationship because he was our sergeant.
Yes.
And
y'all kind of came up together.
Yeah, he was our guy. He was our. Yeah. So we had that. You're our sergeant. You're not chief of police.
Yeah.
And then I thought I could get away with saying more things than I probably should have. So sorry, Derek.
That relationship changes not a whole lot, but it has to change a little.
Well, you just got to follow chain of command. I was scared of chain of command. I thought I could get away with what I used to. And I don't know how many times. Man,
it'll land you in there.
And you learn as a rookie officer. I don't care what people say. Until you get 5-6 years on the road, you're still a rookie. You're still learning every day. I learned the whole 21 years I was there, different things.
Yeah.
But I remember one thing was fun. It wasn't real fun. It was a big learning experience for me. We had an officer previously that had gotten some trouble and was no longer with us at that time, and everybody was kind of scared on what you can do and what you can't do, and how when it come to laying hands on people, because even in the early 2000s, it's Laurel County wasn't like Lexington and Louisville. You still had your use of force continuum, and you did follow it, but one above. And we got a call one day of TDOT was working, Seems like a lot of things was working with you. So a lot of things.
I was a magnet.
So
Black cloud.
we get a call of a stolen vehicle from Yaden's Auto Sale, not the one they're at now, the one that used to be past the park,
Right.
way down there. So a guy was working there. I guess he got fired, but he left in a vehicle, one of theirs, and he was drunk. So we're out looking for him. I find him on the parkway. I stop him, go through all the field sobriety. You know, he's tanked. He's cool as can be. He's not giving me no issues. Put him in the car, and just like it does with 99% of the people you arrest, once they get in the car, that's when they start running their mouth.
Right.
That's when they start trying to push your buttons, trying to get you to do things, and you know you can't because they're handcuffed. So we get up to 3rd Street. We're waiting on the light, and he's banging his head on the screen. He's kicking, he's screaming, he's spitting all in the car, and I pick up the radio and say, I'm going to need some help when we get to the PD, because we took everybody to the PD then because we booked them. So Travis meets me at the PD. I go to get him out of the car, and as soon as he stands up, I have to reach in and grab him, pull him out, and as soon as he stands up, he spits in my face. I've never had nobody do that to me.
It was a big loogie.
And it was horrible, and I froze. Because at that split second, my brain, I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Can I, going through the options in that split second. I didn't even have that whole second to think about it. I just kind of looked to my left, and here comes Travis with the flying Superman and nails this guy. And when I mean nails him, he just doesn't bend over. He folds him in half, and he goes in we're on the passenger side of the car, goes in the back seat and smacks up against the driver's side passenger seat of the car. Never seen somebody hit like that.
It was a Palm Hill strike. It was not a.
Well, I mean,
it was not close to hand.
He hit him, and he went in, and I was like,
The football.
he just made me look like a fool, So I yank out the pepper spray, and I'm like, I'm yelling at
He
him.
pulls me off.
So
It's mine.
I baptized him in pepper spray. Got in trouble for that. The supervisor yanked me to the side and told me that if I ever did anything like that again, that's going to be me. It's going to be getting hit like that. So
I think it was.
it was hoghead.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
but I think he didn't.
He deserved it at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he was mad at him for not letting me. Like,
That's-
why did Travis take your?
Yeah.
That should have been you. And I just reacted to.
He
wasn't hurting my buddy.
was able to react quicker than I could.
Yeah, I was just like
process
waiting on him to
everything.
come. I was just like, what is he?
I
He
was
just
scared.
assaulted Dan. I don't know what this guy's doing. I didn't.
Well, and at that point was that considered assault third?
No.
So-
No.
I was gonna say
but
that-
it was just a bad.
So
you know.
there's a lot more you could do once they changed that to assault
Yes,
third.
it
There's
wasn't
just-
covered that.
It was just awful. Well, it was just a different world.
Yeah.
I had no idea people liked to fight like they did.
No, I didn't. I hadn't really fought with anybody. You tussle with a few. The guy we chased, we fought a little bit, but other than that, most people didn't give me a hard time. The drunks
Me
a
either.
little bit, but they didn't really fight.
I never had to fight a whole lot either. I mean, we got in fights, and then if we wanted to fight, we just sent Joey out on his own to a call, and that usually instigated a fight pretty quick.
Well, a lot of the problem.
But the way I talk to people,
Yeah,
kept me out of a lot of fights because I could usually,
and the way some people talk to people.
I can't, yeah.
some
You can
people
cause a
it
fight.
just attracts. It gravitates. It
I
magnets.
I didn't
to
take things personally, so I didn't talk to people like it was a personal attack. I'm like, your crime's not a personal attack on me.
If you
So-
worked the road in London and you wanted a fun physical shift, you needed Travis Dotson on
Yes.
that shift or Kenny Jones.
Yeah.
I
Because
could
when
see
they
Kenny
come
Jones,
out, it's like every day's a full moon.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did not, and it wasn't even. I was like, I came out one day, and
Remember the day you come out when you come to the PD with you and your family.
oh my gosh, we used to have to come pick up our checks. So I'd drive in in a minivan. I got my little with me, and I'm like, my wife and my little, and she was. I walk in there and I got flip flops on. I'm going to get my check.
Y'all have somebody in booking.
Yep.
They had somebody letting them smoke outside.
It was my guy. He was standing there at the window, at the door. I was watching him. Travis pulls up.
I was like, I know you. You're that. He started just dog cussing me in front of my wife, and he had it. I don't even know if he's cuffed. I don't remember. He was smoking a cigarette.
They were in the front. He was smoking a cigarette.
And I'm like, what is going on? So I draw back, like, I'm going to punch this guy right in the face. And I look at my wife. And she's like, no.
Don't do it.
She's like, what's Daddy saying to that guy? I was like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It was just
It was just weird stuff. I'd show up and be like, I'm in flip-flops and just trying to get paid. And this guy remembered. I mean, I policed really hard in my younger days. And everybody was like scared of that old guy, and I'm like, psh. So anyway, there was just weird stuff that would happen. I was like, man. But one of the funniest, one of the weirdest times was down at the trailer park that time, and we just had, it was just always some kind of shenanigans that was going on.
The bear, the goat,
the bear.
Oh yeah, the bear.
Let's talk
So
about
we've
the bear.
told the bear story, but
oh no,
not from
Danny's perspective.
Okay, so I probably should have got a badge or an award for this.
You need a valor. I should write you. I will write. I'm gonna give you a bear award.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As like the bear chaser, the bear catcher, or whatever.
The bear whisperer.
You know, so we get the bear loose in London, and I don't remember where I spotted it at. It was somewhere around Jackson Street, First Street, somewhere right in there. Well, me,
I was in pursuit of it. I see it running. We were looking for it over towards Big
Walmart
Lots.
or somewhere. Yeah.
Well, it'd been over at Walmart, but it got over on the PD side, and I get behind it on First Street, and I call it out in pursuit. I'm like, hey, I'm behind the bear on First Street. We're heading towards PD. Turn on Jackson Street, and then we got out because it went behind somebody's house.
Yes,
there you
it was
go.
right there at
Right, yeah,
on
right there.
Jackson Street. Well, I'm on foot looking for the thing, and I see it, and it takes off running, and just that instinct of it's running, I have to chase it, like you do a perp.
Oh, yeah.
So I chased the bear, and I chased the bear.
Yeah,
and
me and Alan were not as fast or whatever. We decided, hey, let's not chase this bear. It could eat us.
I was foot chasing a bear,
And
it was running, but not. I guess I know it wasn't really afraid of me,
Right.
But I was running hard, but it wasn't. And about every 6 or 7 minutes, it'd stop and look at me, and I'd get 10, 15 yards from it, maybe closer sometimes, and I'd stop and I'd look at it. And we'd exchange loving glances for a minute.
What was you going to do when you caught it?
I don't know. That was not going through my mind. I was just trying to keep eyes on this bear. And I could hear him on the radio, don't shoot it, because you can't shoot a bear. So I'm like, I can't shoot it. I can't do nothing with it. We didn't have tasers then.
Okay.
And
I would
can
hate
you
to
imagine
tase a bear.
taser the bear? But it takes off running again. So I take off running again. And I follow it down Whitley Street. And there are people outside watching me foot chase a bear. And I'm foot chasing a bear. I think it was in the paper, me chasing the bear.
Yeah.
there's pictures of us getting it out of the.
It was in the tree. It climbed up a tree.
It reared up on somebody, didn't it?
It reared up on me twice.
Yeah. And then it ran up a tree.
But it never would come towards me. I mean, I guess I wasn't afraid. I'm pretty sure. I guess
I
it
think
looked
you
at me as
thi-
like what an idiot. that's
Back when we
following
were
me.
young men in high school, when the chicken festival first started happening, you remember uptown they'd have that you could wrestle that
Wrestle
bear.
the bear.
Did
I think-
Junior wrestle it once?
I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Danny's like, I got this guy.
You know,
Because this was a smaller
Pretty
bear.
sure that one was
I mean, it
declawed,
probably went
though, was it
200.
not?
Oh, it was 300 pounds. I mean, it was a black bear.
yeah,
it
it was
was
a
on
good
the
size.
smaller size, but it was a black bear.
It was a.
And I probably, in my younger days, if it would have tried me, I probably would have and got eat up. Cause,
He'd have
you
been
know,
like the Revenant.
but it was so funny.
He come out there, his jaw hanging off.
It was just so funny because every time it'd stop, I'd stop.
the
And,
bear, hey bear.
I mean, we could just about smell each other. We're so close.
Oh, he stunk too.
And
didn't
it'd just look at me. And I'd look at it and I'd be like,
We chased this thing so long that the biologist had time to get there, and we
from
trained it.
Lexington or Frankfurt.
Yeah, I mean they were en route when it first started.
To
We
come down
we
and
chased
trank
this
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did. Stuart Walker did. He climbed up there he got it. I think we used a fire truck
You got up on the
to get
fire
a good
truck.
shot, and then we put it on a back or on a
It
board
was like a board.
and
ambulance
carried
board.
that thing out of there, and they loaded it up in a biologist's vehicle, and they hauled it off. It was
Animal
awesome.
stories.
It made the paper. I remember. I was like,
know it made
man,
the paper.
I remember
Yeah.
us
Well,
carrying
I
it
mean,
out.
as it should. I mean, it's
it
not
smelled-
every day.
It smelled awesome. Oh, it stunk. And that fur, it was
horrible.
If you ever get a chance to
I don't
catch a bear,
recommend. I don't
Yeah, I'm not
recommend.
going to chase a bear. I'm not.
I don't recommend it because there was a couple times I thought I was going to deposit stuff in my pants, but
Bring me my brown pants.
I got a little pucker.
Did you and somebody on a goat one time?
That was me and Daryl Kilburn. That was me and Daryl. It was an evening or night shift. I don't remember. It was late because the lights were out. And we get a call of a goat. Because stock sales in town, always getting animals, cows, pigs, goats. And it was on the old Tackett Apartments. It was on the second level on that little walkway they got. Going.
like a whole catwalk.
So I go up one side, Daryl goes up the other, and our intent was we can get close enough, we'll grab this goat.
Yeah.
Okay. Goats are. I'm not afraid of a goat.
No, and they're fairly. I mean,
They're not
docile.
Yeah, they're usually. I mean, they
Unless
might
you-
headbutt you.
Unless
or
you grab
something.
their heads and blow in their face, they don't like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, they'll like
Or their
headbutt you or
butt.
something, but they're not gonna. They can't eat you. Then they bite. I'm sure to hurt, but it's a goat.
Yeah.
60 pounds, maybe 50 pounds. So we're trying to hem this goat in. We're just both slowly creeping up, and this goat would run towards me, then turn it and run towards Daryl, then it run toward, and it's like not knowing what to do. Well, all of a sudden, it's like time stopped. It just time stopped.
He
and
took
froze.
the blue pill
And this was Superman
or
goat.
the red pill.
Or this was like
which one? The Matrix that he.
Spider-Man goat, I don't know, Matrix goat. It took off running towards Daryl. So I'm running trying to catch it. And then it just leaps. But it don't leap off. It leaps on the side of the building and it's running sideways.
It was quite the.
It was.
There's a great video of this.
I stop and I'm laughing already. And then as it's running sideways, it takes like 4 or 5 steps and then just bounces. Just pounces like it's jumping off that whole thing. And I'm like, oh. And then Daryl, out of nowhere, quick reflexes, grabs that goat and he's hanging on to it. And he's trying to pull it back in.
It's like a jumper.
I'm cackling. And I have a very obnoxious cackling laugh.
Oh, it is.
And
It's
we
horrible.
had those body mics at those time. We didn't have cameras. We had
we had
body mics. The car cameras.
cams, yeah.
The car camera caught it all.
Oh, yeah.
And VHS tapes. And you could hear me
He's like, Mom!
cackling. I was cackling so hard.
Oh man, it was a great catch. I think Daryl should have got an award on that.
He probably did because it was like something right. It was just right out of a film. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
It was a great catch. Have I talked about getting run over by the golf cart I haven't on this show?
No,
I haven't.
No, I've not heard
I
that.
did get an award. I got a Valor Award for this. This is embarrassing. We're uptown when Poison guy, what's his name? The singer
Brett
Michaels is in town. He's playing the Chicken Festival.
I was working for this one then.
Yeah. And the band was coming up beside. They were
Was
doing
this the
the intro.
DUI?
No. Band's coming up, and Brett's in his camper, and I'm secured at his from the crowd to his camper.
Right.
Backstage. If you had a pass, you had to go through me and Daryl. So the band's coming, and the dang golf cart, which is one of those big utility golf carts with like the dump bed on the back, big outfit, and it was heavy. Found out. So somebody, this nice lady who was operating the thing, and they were delivering the chicken dinners on those from this big skillet. So the giant skillets over there,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And there's a big line of people over there, And the cart is parked right where the band's coming in. So somebody's like, hey, can somebody move this golf cart? She jumps on it, puts it in reverse, takes off, gets her foot stuck. She's got it cut all the way.
So it's doing donuts.
She gets her foot caught behind the brake, and her ankle's like pressing on the gas pedal. And she's falling into the floor at some point, holding onto that steering wheel, screaming, whoa, whoa. I mean, so it was like big skillet, crowd, Brett Michaels' RV, the band, everybody, people, whoa, whoa. Well, it keeps going around. You keep hearing her scream. I'm like double dutching. I start getting ready to jump in, right? I'm trying to time this. I bet it goes around 5-6 times. And I'm like, I got to stop this. So I jump in. I didn't jump at the right spot. I missed my timing. I catch that rear end of that thing hits me. I jumped. Luckily, I jumped up in the air because I jumped. I was, I'm in the wrong spot. I was trying to jump in it, like jump on top. I got in there too soon, and I jumped up, and that tailgate area of that thing hits me right in the thighs. Spins me in the air, and I land perfect 10, boom, and everybody there. And then Daryl, he jumps in right, and he gets he's got her anchor cranking it and turning the vehicle off and saves us. And he was like, man, that was the most, the band's all coming up to me, man, that was, what the F is that? You want to go meet Brett? I said, oh man, I just need a cigarette.
I just want to lay down.
I'm telling you.
And Daryl's like, man, that was the bravest thing I ever seen, and gave me an award for that. And I said, let's not put this one in the paper. Let's talk about this one later in the podcast.
Remember the shower curtain?
No, I don't know, but
so Chicken Festival golf carts. 1 year, DPS give us those rhinos. And we had a rhino. Didn't have it had the bars, but it had a roof, but it didn't have any windows or doors. Chicken Festival, it comes pouring the rain.
it was awful.
It was awful. It was cold.
Yeah.
So here we're riding around in the
awful.
golf cart because when it's raining, there's not a whole lot of people out, so you're patrolling the perimeter doing a lot. We're freezing to death. I get an idea. Let's go by my house because I just live right down the road. So we go to my house, and my bathroom upstairs had a clear shower curtain. So I take it off, and I wrap our utility vehicle in a shopping cart so we can stay dry. But it was funny because here you got everybody else doing their thing, riding around their golf carts with their windows, and here we are with a shower curtain trying to look at it and go.
It fit in. The Chicken Festival is a wild thing. If you've never been to it, you need to go, and then you probably never want to go back.
They brought those cool bass fishing things in there. Had those. He was fishing.
We won't say what fisherman did it.
This guy would. They was great fishermen, but we'd work that night shift, and they'd go down there and be like, so they was display
all them fish.
This guy would be like, this is the lure you need, and they fish wouldn't buy it because they sore lipped them.
They were fishing.
It's like the people that go swimming in the Wood and Bass Pro.
Yeah,
I remember the first couple years of the Chicken Festival. First couple that I went to, when we get on the golf carts, and you got the ones with the seats, the forward and the backward seats, and then there's so many of us because everybody worked. You wasn't allowed to take vacation during the Chicken Festival, so everybody worked, and we only had 3 golf carts in, the 2 black and white ones and another one. So the black and white ones are loaded down. We'd be standing on the back, holding on the top, leaning over everybody. And every time kids, most of the time, most of the complaints you get. So we're running on them golf carts, going as fast as you can go, trying to make them pop wheelies while the person's driving. And we'd slide in like a SWAT team in those golf carts and just barrel off and take off running. It was hilarious.
We always, where we were on night shift, we always tried to get on the night shift detail of the Chicken Festival.
I hated it.
I'd rather work day shift.
To be honest, I'd rather poop in my hands and clap than work the Chicken Festival anyway.
I love Chicken Festival.
But
I loved it.
I'm pretty sure that nobody involved in this story works there anymore. I think. I can't remember exactly who all was in it. But we were having the Chicken Festival 500 as we did every time we done
Yep.
That been
the
going on
night
since the
shift.
first Chicken
Yeah.
Festival.
Yeah.
Whenever they got those golf carts,
Yeah.
that's when that
500.
started.
Yep. So, and then we were on our way. You had to go to Speedway to get them gassed back up. Mm-hmm. Well, on the way to Speedway, we thought, what would be funny? If we pit maneuver the person in front of us. So we do. And it destroys the back wheel of that golf cart.
That's what
I
happened.
remember that. Yep. Nobody knew what happened. Nobody said anything.
Nope.
Yeah.
And now you know.
You owe $14 for that wheel. Huh?
That hubcap never would stay back
No,
on.
it wouldn't. Those things ran
But-
great, and I've got to think about that. Those golf carts are probably 30 years old now.
Oh yeah.
Well, we hot wired them.
Remember the old black truck we had, the old
Yeah.
Dodge truck? So it was 4th of July detail.
Which is another one you couldn't leave town for.
No.
It is my anniversary.
They
Yeah.
told me and another officer to go get the truck and the trailer and take it somewhere. I don't even know where we were taking it. Oh, to the EMS or DPS place there off Slate Lake Street to get a Rhino or something like that. So we hooked the trailer. I've been mowing for years, hauling trailers, and never think nothing about it. So we put the trailer on. So is the other guy, and we're going down 4th Street, and it's just bumpy, And all of a sudden, we look over our left shoulder, and there goes our trailer. We're going down 4th Street, and here comes this trailer beating us down 4th Street. It had the chain. It had one chain, not two chains, just had one chain on it. And we're going down 4th Street. Here comes this trailer, and we're like, we get on the radio, and we're like, this is going to be bad. We lost the trailer, sent some units, and had to hit a car, but it was hilarious.
no.
How many cars have you hit?
A few.
So Danny was in the detective's office for most of the time. I mean, there's a couple of years I think I got to work with him on the road.
I got a better one.
Oh, do you?
Oh, I got a very better one.
Go with yours.
Go with
Flash.
yours.
So, were we off FTO yet? I know we were picking up new cars.
You was
Okay.
not off FTO.
So we were not off FTO. So not only was we not supposed to be driving by ourselves without a FTO with us, but they had sent us to go pick up new cars. Mm-hmm. Well, Danny and the other guy that had went to the academy with us, that was his FTO at the time, and he elected to say, "Well, you drive one, I'll drive one back."
So we went to Don Franklin,
Yep.
and it was my car.
Yeah.
It was brand new Charger. Went to Don Franklin, me and this officer, to get it. They had to. It's something with the console or whatever.
And that's a big deal. Getting a new car, it was a big deal.
It was better than Christmas.
Yeah.
So we get it, and we're driving down the road, and I'm looking at all the cool buttons. And like I said, attention is not my strong suit. We've noticed that.
Right.
So we're going down South Laurel Road, coming back to the PD, and
Traffic's kind of heavy.
it's pretty heavy, And next thing you know, I rear end my FTO the officer I'm training.
Yeah.
He's right in front of me. I mean, I hit him, and I hit him hard.
It was it totaled that car.
It totaled my car, totaled his car, and pushed his car into another vehicle.
So we kept our spare tires in our trunks. Mm-hmm. It had pushed his spare tire all the way through his back seat.
Oh my gosh.
And me, being me, not thinking about what I say, I get on the radio and I'm hollering for help, say,
46th out.
46th out, it's my fault. Got in trouble for that one.
Yeah.
Don't ever admit fault.
Don't it? Yeah.
So another story, which you wasn't there, T-Dot wasn't working this time. It was a second shift, being a sergeant, and another one that I was working with. It was juvenile day for some odd reason. We just dealt with juveniles constantly, and I had one arrested, and I was waiting for
Orders to take him to Breathitt.
Yeah, this was when we took him over here. When they
Okay.
had the old judicial center over here. So his parents had came up there, and they were yelling and screaming at us. It was a big ordeal inside the PD. So I finally get tired of listening to everything. I'm done with the paperwork, and I say, okay, get up. So I get him up. I put him in the back of my car. I put it in reverse. And when I pull out, I'm mad. It's heated. So I give it a little bit more gas than I probably should have. But still, I just smashed the rear end of my cruiser into their van.
Oh, no.
They were pulled up right behind me. They didn't pull in a parking spot. They just pulled into the parkway and stopped. And I drilled the side of their car with the juvenile in the car.
Oh, no.
When I say I drilled it, I caved in the whole driver's side of their van. And which, though, it was Crown Vic then, so they didn't really take that much damage. But it messed up my bumper a little bit. And
Buff it out and drive it.
I didn't even have time to say anything on the radio because everybody heard it. And they all come out of the PD. It was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening, second shift. The major was still there. Elijah just came in for something. John Wright was the lieutenant at that time. He was there. My supervisor came out, and whoever is John Whitehead, I'm pretty sure, was working with me. And I'm just standing there in my car.
Was TH working your shift with you?
Yeah, he worked with me about every shift.
Yeah.
Me and him spent most of my time together with him until he got promoted. And I'm just standing there looking at everybody. The parents, everybody. They're all at the back door, just crammed at that little door. Supervisor, which is Greg Lewis, he's yelling at me. Major's yelling. The parents are yelling. The kid in the back is yelling, and I just go, huh.
Oops.
I want to do to write a memo on this one, huh?
I'll see myself out.
The train's going by. So.
Remember on the back side of the police department, there was this big, long black mark about this size.
I remember that there was a...
you talking about on the wall?
On the wall.
I remember the black mark, and I remember the indentation of a
There was
license
a license plate
plate.
indentation.
Okay, on my canine car, I had a license plate in the front. Okay,
I always wondered where that came from.
that was me.
Always
I did
wondered.
that, and the black mark was also me. I did that in my 2004 Crown Vic that I hadn't had.
That
it
was
on.
brand new too then, because I
Yeah.
got a brand new 04.
Danny's the reason we couldn't have nice things.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you remember, I don't know if you remember this, but when the back way out of the police department there's a little ramp there. It's
Yeah.
elevated.
Better than it used to be.
When I first started, that little ramp was maybe
6 foot wide.
it was awful. You had
Go
to,
off
You
into
could
the
not go off
landscaping.
that fast. You couldn't see. And I remember getting high centered, like wheel up there came off and drug. And luckily I had they were stout enough you could. I turned my wheel the other way and popped that off there, and I was like, oh no, I've scuffed this, peeled the paint off that. I was scared to death. I didn't report it. They wouldn't care, but I was like, So I went to Walmart or somewhere, somewhere and bought some black
paint.
touch-up paint.
Been there, done that.
Touched up many a car on it.
That intersection, 1A2, 25, we just got those push bumpers on the front of it. And I came through there a little hot. And you hit that, and those chargers would sink when you hit with the shock. And all I seen was and sparks. I said I tore this thing off completely. Look, I got lucky. It just tore the rubber off of it.
Danny gets in my cruiser one time bringing FOT. He's like, hey, I need a black and white. I need a black and white cruiser. I was like, and I just, listen, I had an 09
That's a good
Crown
year.
Vic.
Yeah.
Great 09
The
Crown
11
Vic that
sucked.
I drove till 18 because I worked a lot of school, so they was like,
Yeah.
So I loved it. I didn't want to trade it. But they gave me a new charger. I just went and got it. I mean, I just got it. And Danny's like, hey, I need he's driving a pickup truck, so he's wanting black and white to work some FOT detail, some speed or, write some tickets out of it. I was like, all right. So I drove his home, and he got mine. And he came back, he's man. You ran it through a ditch or something off the shoulder.
So
Tore
they just had repaved 192 and the northbound on ramp from the 38. So when they just repave, it's a little higher. Okay, we're used to Crown. We had a Crown Vic just before that, and I had a truck.
Yeah.
So I get his Charger, and I'm going to
they were
pull
lower profiled.
the lock. So I'm going to turn onto the interstate, and I get a little too close to the edge, and I just slide right off of it.
Yeah, there's a little
It'd tear
plastic
up his-
piece underneath it. It was dragging
Yeah.
the ground.
Just tore the air dam and
The
all
air
that
dam.
off the front of his car.
I was
Brand
like,
new.
oh, I was mad. I was like, I mean, I was the last guy driving a Crown Vic at the police department, and I missed it. I loved it, but I was like, man, I want one of these little fast Chargers. They're so cool. And then I got one, and I went to get oil change. The guy's like, man, you know, underneath this has got a bunch of broken plastic pieces. And I was like, just rip them off.
Yeah, don't feel bad. I had to get under mine and cut part of mine off with a knife because it
way
was
too-
just dragging. I got
what I
tired.
did.
Yeah,
They're
I got
way
tired
too
of
low.
the whole time. yeah.
I've never told anybody this story. So when I was a detective, I got.
We got an exclusive.
This isn't exclusive. Nobody knows except my daughter who was with me.
And all the people that are, the millions that are going to be
Now
listening to this
that
podcast.
you're going to be listening, I'm not employed no more. So I had that nice Dodge truck. It was a 16, had the
it's nice.
step rails on the
Yeah.
side. Very nice. So I'd been working late, and my daughter called me, and she was wanting to go to her friends. It's winter. It's cold. Roads were somewhat bad. But I was like, sure, I'll take you. I got this truck. It ain't no big deal. So I put her in the truck. I'm going down South 25 because her friend lived off some road off South 25 but next to Corbin. Sorry, that was a big ding. But anyways, so I'm taking her there, and I pass up the road because I didn't know the road, and she's horrible with directions. She couldn't tell me. So just there's like a church right before the old ambulance squad place there on the left or something.
Yeah.
So anyways, I go to turn around, and it's dark. Roads are bad. You know, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm taking you, but I did. So I turn, and when I turn, I don't realize how close I am to the ditch. So the whole right side of the truck goes off and hits that, and my front wheel's off the ditch, my back wheel's raised up. The only thing on the road is my driver's side front wheel, and I'm teetering. I'm like, what did I do? And I heard a ka-thunk. So I was like, oh. So I had to put four-wheel drive
There's a homeless guy
to
walking.
get out of the ditch. I take her to her friend's house, and I get out, and I go over to the pasture side, and that step rail is almost V'd.
Oh,
It's
no.
raised up. It's all. I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. Oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. I just freak out for a minute, and then I'm like, hold on. I get up on it because I'm heavy. I jump up and down on it a couple times. It takes it almost completely perfect back to. I just drive back home and never say. Nobody ever noticed, and I'm like, huh? They can take a licking.
I'll tell you,
Sorry, Chief.
I don't know from experience, but we used to do a lot of DUI stuff. So we got these new PBTs, the sweet yellow ones.
Oh, I
that we
didn't
had.
like it.
Well, I was real bad for leaving them on my trunk.
Oh, no.
How many you lose?
They're pretty durable. Let's just say mine had a big, on the back of it had a big tire mark across the back of it for a while.
They're tough.
It was, yeah.
Listen,
Man.
I won one of those, you know, the long ones that you like you'd hold up and just they were detectors. They weren't. They was like, oh,
It
I
just
detect.
detects the air. It doesn't
I
give you a
won
reading.
one at
just
a safe schools or a DARE conference we went to one time, and the first thing I did was leave that thing right on the roof in downtown Louisville. I went to a ball game and they were like, you know, it was like a raffle, and I was like, yeah, I won something. I thought it was going to be something cool. It was that. I was like, I just wanted a hat. I didn't want this. Anyway, I'd put it on the trunk or on the hood, and somebody in downtown Louisville probably got that detecting alcohol in there. But
Man,
yeah,
we had all kinds of fun.
our dare trips. Yeah, we roomed on them together too. So we had some good golfing and good times on those things.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
One time was pretty bad, but we won't talk about it. It was real bad. Yeah.
Yeah, guys. It was fun.
That's the joy of this job is that you're just. I mean, if it wasn't for the guys that you work with, the job would suck for the most part.
Oh, it
but-
would have been horrible.
Yeah, it would have been horrible.
It'd been horrible.
But we've got all these great stories we get to look back on, and
And there's some that still have a little animosity towards me. We're buddies. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he still complains about it when we talk about it. Like most of my career, once I got off FTO, was on second shift.
Yeah.
You know, and we all did shift bids back then. Still, same thing. And I liked seconds just because I just it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, got into stuff. So I got put on night shift for a little while. And we just had got promoted. Or I could say I was given promotion because me and another officer. There was only 2 spots.
By default.
I tested.
There was 3 of us that tested. Okay. He backed out. Travis backed out.
I was on the task force.
He went to the task force, making better money, doing better stuff. So there's only 2 people left in 2 spots. So they're like, well, okay, we'll give it to you all. And I think I got it by default. You know,
Was it you and G?
It was me and G.
That's what happened to me and Cody.
So as being the low-ranking supervisor, see, I don't think they ever really planned on promoting me, but they did. And
God.
so I got that, and I got put on night shift with shadowing another sergeant. And we'll just say a bunch of things happened. Bunch of stuff happened. We had a lot of fun and got in trouble a whole bunch. And I probably didn't spend a year on night shift, and then they yanked me back, put me on day shift, and put Gary back on night shift. And he was mad about that for a long time.
He got stuck with us though, so I think he was. He was.
No,
all
that
right.
was back when he got stuck
Oh, was it?
with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
We
he
had-
was pretty mad.
This was early because I came off that task force and got I promoted. Me and Travis Hurley got promoted same time later. Because I remember us talking about it. I was like, I don't think he wanted to get promoted there for a while.
He didn't because he got on day shift, and
and that was going to push him back to second shift.
Yeah,
or
senior
third.
patrolman day
yeah.
shift.
It's kind of a
weekends
bittersweet
off.
thing to get promoted because you go back to.
Me and Derek were talking about this
Low
the other
man.
day. The greatest position at a police department is senior patrolman.
Yeah,
by
It
far.
is.
yeah.
And I disagreed a little bit. I'm like, the third sergeant on the shift working 6P to 2A that lost ball and high weeds.
that is
and
better.
I did that for a couple of years, and I was just be like,
We
hey,
did
guys.
have some odd years where we were just
Yeah.
like supervisor heavy on
Yeah,
shifts for
it-
whatever reason.
It just one of them deals where like somebody go on a task force and come
Yeah.
off of it. Just things like that would happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's just you had no home, so you're just like, hey guys, I'm here.
And being evening shift, second shift, I always got stuck with the new people. Because nobody wants second shift.
No.
They either want day shift or night shift.
Yeah.
And the new guys, most year, if your senior guys couldn't get day shift, they took night shift. And not many of them took second shift. So I always got stuck with the new guys. And I think that's one reason I got in trouble so often.
No, it was fun. I mean,
It was fun, though.
There was the people that wanted second shift would really. I think TH really liked it.
He did.
Hey, you and him had a good
lot
time.
of fun. I remember it was snowing one day, and it was me and a couple other patrolmen. I won't say their names. Or I guess I can. It don't matter. But we're snowball fighting like usual, goofing off, snowball fighting. Well, I get them really good. They don't realize that I also put pepper spray under their handles of their door handles and in their air dam of their car.
Gosh.
So I throw snowballs at them, and they chase me into the PD. We hang out in the PD a minute, and then they're doing something. Well, I just leave, and they don't realize that I left because they had like on the back of their car, they had like 7 snowballs waiting for me.
Yeah.
So I go knock them off real quick, and I get in the car and I haul off, and I'm going home. It's right at going home time because I wasn't one to just kind of hang around.
Yeah.
Wife always got mad at me. Yes, that's true. You did get mad at me for hanging around. So I went straight home, and here they come just mo-docking down the road. They get out like 2 houses down. They think I don't see them, but I see them the whole time. I get out of my cruiser. I'm walking, and I get right to the door, and here they come running with snowballs in their hand. I opened the door, and my male boxer at that time, I had 2. I had a male and a female. He was really protective. Wouldn't hurt a thing. He couldn't hurt nothing. He didn't have hardly teeth in his head. He took out running after them as they're running down the road. They flip out and throw the snowballs and run back to their cars. Oh, so much fun.
Oh man, good old days.
It is, yeah.
I got some stories. I want to do a special. It's coming up on TH's. He's been gone almost 3 years now, and I'd like to. There's some stories we had on.
I love that old
Yeah.
bear.
We need to do a good one. I miss him.
Yes,
I
one of my
do.
best friends.
It would be cool if we could get do that and then get supporting heroes.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody come down, kind of talk to
Yeah, we're gonna try.
get the word out with them because they were
I'll
awesome
reach out.
on all of that.
I remember when he got his first Jeep. Every time he get ready to go somewhere, he'd call me, Daddy, can you come help me take the top off? You know, can you come help me put the top on?
Yeah.
Or playing Call of Duty when he first got his Xbox, and we all get online and playing Call of Duty. He'd call me, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Come check my network out.
Oh man, he was so
Loved him.
fun. We answered. I worked some. If I didn't work night shift, I was on the second shift a lot. Like that 6P to 2A. But one
Yeah.
night, some reason, and he worked some third shift with me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was chicken festival time, and we had this guy. He was rowdy. He would not come out of his house. And he wasn't even in his house. He just wouldn't leave. And we was like, man. Travis like, how we gonna get him out of here? I don't know if we got enough to arrest him. We weren't sure
Right.
what to do. I was like, he's gonna have to fight. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen if we lay hands. He's gonna fight. And I reached up, and all of a sudden this guy starts throwing down, and I was like, so we was like, wow, arrest him. And we get outside, and he's like, did I see what I thought I seen? I said, what'd you see, buddy? He said, you flip him right in the nose. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, man. He got a kick out of that. I said, man, I didn't know what to do. And he said, well, what made you think of that? And I was like, I got a twisted mind. I don't know. Oh, man, those people were so thankful to get that drunk out of there. He tore up their house, and we was like, we had enough.
Yeah.
But that guy was going to fight. And
Oh, yeah.
I was just like,
Wait till you get Mike Holiday on here, and Alan, if
I
you get
asked him
Alan
yesterday.
Harris or Greg Hill, they've got some stories for Travis that's hilarious.
We'll have to get
We're
him
going
on
to do
there.
it. We'll do a
Yeah,
TH special
we'll do
because
it,
I
yeah.
think
Derek has a bunch.
we need to honor him. I miss him every day. It's been almost 3 years. And, I know that he would get a kick out of when we was
All that,
pallbearers in that funeral. we about dropped him.
Jeez, yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I know he's looking down from
was
heaven, laughing at us.
It's funny now. It wasn't at the time,
No.
but we were standing at attention. I remember, and
I saw grown men try it. Just
well,
like
the
freak
look in Big C's eyes
I saw it.
when he started losing grip. It was just a look of sheer terror, and
Oh, it was.
nothing we could do. I mean, it just.
out. Oh, he got a kick out of that. He's like, oh,
But
God.
yeah, he'd have thought that was funny.
He had the greatest laugh of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, yours was annoying. His was beautiful.
His was good. Mine was just
he had
annoying.
that deep. So, I miss him.
And you never wanted him to get a hold of you.
No,
No,
sir.
and big bear paws.
He'd
telling
get
you.
you.
Jeez.
Well, that's we'll do another one sometime, Danny. We'll
Yeah.
We'll cut this one off.
Yeah, we'll end it right here. Got a few things coming up. We've got gonna kind of get out of police land for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a dispatcher coming up. And we've got a fireman coming up. I mean, I know everybody's excited about firemen.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Woo.
yeah.
Heroes.
Hose jockeys.
I did that for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Technically, Patrick was our first fireman, but I think his only qualifications is he walked into a fire department one time. So
He
but,
sat down at a meeting.
Yeah, he sat down. He was on a roster for.
I've done it for a little while.
He's probably on other lists now.
I mean, like a month. That was long enough for me.
That's scary.
Yeah, but yeah, Danny, we've enjoyed it. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
out. We'll see, and that's the thing. We'll think of more stories and stuff. So
I'm
we've-
still going through
yeah,
stories.
just write them
It's
down as
crazy how these little talks, it jogs your memory. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this to try to make $1 million. That'd be nice to get monetized, but I'm doing this because I'm going to forget it.
Yeah.
And it's just good stuff, and I want people to remember us someday.
And you guys out there listening, I hope you all are enjoying what we're putting out so far. We've got an email address, Instagram. We've got our main webpage. It's a little convoluted to navigate, but if you
We're
want to
working on it.
DM us on Instagram, Our email address is joojpod@gmail.com right now. That's JOOJPOD.
I didn't know we had one such thing. This guy's he's the technical
T-Dot
guy.
shows up.
I just show up late.
T-Dot's our Vanna White.
Too.
T-Dot's our Vanna White.
Forgetting about it.
But yeah, hit us up. Send us some feedback. Let us know what
Yeah.
you think. If
Send
you
us some stories
you
too.
want-
Yeah.
If you want us to tell a story or something that you don't want to come on and tell yourself, or something that you know,
we'll read them.
change the names. If
It'd be cool to get other agencies involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to.
we've got
What
so there's a guy. Doug has a buddy that is a retired state trooper from Louisiana.
Oh, that'd be
That's
cool.
going to come on. We're going to have to do him remote, so I've got to figure out the
Yeah.
way to do that.
I got a buddy.
This equipment can do it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I
I've got a
don't know
buddy
the-
from Michigan State Police
Exactly.
that's ready to come on.
So that we're going to try and branch out some, get you guys some other stuff other than just our local guys. So stay tuned with us. Check us out on the next one.